Hello everybody. They've called the bailiffs on me. Unpaid parking fine. It kind of ties in with one I've been meaning to do for Camo Courier for a little while. And he said, make sure that if you quote a job, the money's on, that you know that the money is on the docket. And what he's trying to say is, he said, I quoted a job and I'm going into London, and I turn around to the guy and I give him the money, I quoted it, and then I turned around and said, is the zone charge paid? And the guy turned around and said, yes. So what he thought was the case is that the shipper had paid his charge, so he could go into the zone, do the delivery, go out the zone, and it was all paid. What the shipper was actually saying is that the guy had quoted on the job, so presumably he quoted, like, so say quoted 50 quid, and the shipper put on 65 because he'd paid the zone charge. And what he was saying is, I have paid the zone charge, I have given you the money for the zone charge, now you have got to pay it to Transport for London. Because shippers can't do this for you directly, it's just too much of a pain. So if you are going to go over the Dartford crossing, or you're going to go over that bridge in Liverpool, or you're going to go into the LEZ zone, or the ULEZ zone, or Birmingham, or Bath, or Portsmouth, or any of the other millions of zones that seem to be appearing all over the place, it's like zone bingo, it's down to you to pay it. So what you'll do, if a job comes up, you look at the job and you go, I'd normally quote that job for 70 quid, and then you've got to know where they are. You go, right, plus that's Bath, that's going to cost me 10 quid, that's London, that's going to cost me 15 quid, and you go, right, so it's 60 quid, 70 pound I'd normally do for the job, plus the tenner, you quote the job at 80 quid. If you feel that way, you can say, in the notes, you can write, job includes zone charge. You don't have to, because what the shippers will be expecting is they'll be expecting slightly higher bids to come in for that job than they would normally base on a per mile basis or a per van basis, because they know it goes into the zone charge, because they're in the game too. As for Camo Courier going, I can't believe I've been so stupid, £424 that was. What happened was, it came in, MX61, stopped in Bishop Stortford when it shouldn't have done. I thought Al had paid it, Al thought I'd paid it. If this comes in, another thing you want to be wary of, if it comes in and you're on private land, so it's a parking eye or a magic line, the bits look very, very authentic, like, oh, you've got to pay now or you'll pay the fine. They're not. There's a big grey area on whether they're legal or not. You should pay them, theoretically, but if you don't pay them, they're not necessarily going to take you to court, because it can go on and on and on. There was a time when it didn't happen full stop, and then one guy actually did go to court. What can happen is, if you ignore them completely, eventually they'll go away. Or alternatively, you might be unlucky. Or keep an eye on them, and if they do say we're taking them to court, at that point, appeal it and go, no, it's not right because of this, that and the other. Then chances are they'll back down. The question I would say, depending on how much that fine is, can you be bothered? Because sometimes the amount of time, effort and heartache, oh, I've got another letter, oh, I've got another letter. Whereas if it comes through and it's like 60 quid fine, £30 if you pay it now, sometimes just pay it, forget about it, walk away is easier. If it's an official one, like the one I had, which was Nottingham County or Northampton County Council or something like that, they will send it to bailiffs. We've had the Dartford judge, not just this, we've had twice going into London, £500 a hit for a lorry where it wasn't supposed to be there. Once because it wasn't supposed to go in, the guy didn't know and drove in. Once because I thought I was registered and I wasn't, and it didn't come up. That still cost me a monkey. Once, Dartford crossing, paid it a day late, didn't realise, we got done twice. Once for going one way, once for going the other way. 600 quid. Lorries are expensive. They make money, but they're expensive. But they're not expensive if you know what you're doing and if you're switched on and you're on top of it. And obviously, I'm kind of new to this. We're still trying to work out the system of how the office works. Does the office pay the fines? Do I pay the fines because they come to my house and then I've got to pass them on to the office? Now I know what to do. The fine comes into my house, I pay it, I write paid, I send it off to the office, they file it. It's all a learning curve. So as for Camo Courier going, I can't believe I'm so stupid. I've done a video back in the day of like 3 really fundamentally Mickey Mouse stupid errors that I made when I started on the exchange. And case in point, I showed you this. Still doing them now. But every day you make a mistake, you learn a little bit more. That's the thing about life. It's a great teacher, but the school fees are high. So that's it. I've had to pay it. That hurt. But so what do? You get your head down. You go, right, I'm going to go and make that money back. I'm going to get my head down, take care, take money.